Welcome back to Badger Bone Podcast. I'm Denny.
I'm Al.
Al, let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, Al.
Hey, Denny, how you doing?
I'm good today. How are you?
Good.
All right.
Beautiful spring day.
Man, it's finally getting a little warm outside.
I know. It's hoodie, but it's perfect hoodie weather.
It is just good hoodie weather, so I like it. I like it. But man, we have a really cool guest today that I'm excited to have.
Yeah, we've been working on this for a while, and we are finally here. And
So yeah, we have. So and I'll get kind of how we came to be is we've got Scott Medelin on today. He's former Marine Corps, former police officer. He's written several books, and he's right in that realm of all the things we talk about of wellness, mental wellness, first responders. But I remember was seeing him on LinkedIn a whole lot,
Mhm.
and I've seen all the things he was putting little snippets. Just went, oh man, this is really good stuff, and this is exactly what we talk about. And I put him on, he was on the short list because I write when I see folks on, I'm like, we need to reach out to this person. I put it and had him on the short list, and we were in the process of recording to get that season wrapped up, and then we were going to a conference down in Norfolk, Virginia. And lo and behold, of course, we got invited to speak down. And how that happens, I don't know. Maybe because I know Chris. So I'm looking. I said, well, let me see who else we're speaking with that's gonna, totally crush us while we're there. And I look, and there's Scott on as one of the speakers. I'm like, no shit.
I'm going to say he crushed us.
Oh man. So
Very polished, very engaging speaker.
I was so excited because I'm like, well, great. Now we can meet him in person. We can speak for a few minutes and then we'll kind of see if we can't coax him to come on the podcast. And of course, we heard him speak, and I'm like, are we able to back out of our speaking again?
Yeah,
Can we
yeah.
cancel?
Do we have to follow this?
His was fantastic. Well, we got to meet and speak for a while, and then and finally we got it set up, and here we are today. Scott, thank you for being with us.
Well, I appreciate that, gentlemen. Glad to be here on the show, and all the kind words you just said. It goes to my heart, not to my head. But what goes to my head is, oh shoot, the pressure's on to keep going. So yeah, appreciate that.
Well, and I didn't. If I remember correctly, I don't think I told Al. Or I may have, and he may just didn't remember because we got a kind of run list of folks that we target. But you came up, you gave your presentation, and then right after that, Al looks at me, he's like, "We need to get that guy on the podcast."
That means a lot.
And I was like, I've already got him on the list, and I already spoke to him briefly, so already in the works. But I was like the first thing he said because it was a fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
Just a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
So, give us a little bit about your background, if you would.
Yeah, let's see. I graduated high school, and I mean, not even a full 7 days later, I went to the land that God forgot, Parris Island, South Carolina, for Marine Corps boot camp. So I grew up. I grew up really quick down there. June, July, and August boot camp. So it was a great time to be down there. Just the weather was perfect. I'm being sarcastic, and
Yeah, blazing hot.
yeah. And anyway, but so I graduated boot camp August 31st, 2001. We get 10 days boot leave. You do the math. I returned to Marine Corps boot camp for Marine Corps combat training on September 11th, 2001. And needless to say, everything took a whole different perspective starting that day. And I remember calling my dad saying, "Hey, I am going to go to war at some point while I'm in the Marines." And I was not slated to be active duty. I was signed up for the reserve so I could go to college and then work my way through a officer candidate missioning program through Quantico. But anyway, fast forward 2 years from that, and I'm going through my first deployment, Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003, and then come home, go back to college, and then get called up again 2005 to go back to Iraq. And it took me 6 years to do a 4-year college program because I might as well have just stayed active anyway. But yeah, so I did time in the Marines, and when I got out, I was able to graduate college, but then pursued my real big dream, which was working in law enforcement. So I was sworn from 2007 to 2022, and I worked patrol, canine, school resource officer, and finished out as a campus police officer, and overall a great career in the sense of really enjoyed it overall. Did a lot of great things, but were there struggles that I could have never ever seen myself going through that happened? Oh yeah, and that's what I open up a lot about in my speech is just what we should have been told all along to prevent such things from happening. But also, if
Mhm.
you find yourself there, here's what we can do, that kind of thing. But also in the sense of a quick tangent, law enforcement, first responders, in my opinion, overall, still there is a shift are not only taught about when it comes to mental health and stuff like that, like, we need to know more about it, but when it comes to how we are as humans and how we can perform and be at our best and grow as people each and every day rather than just surviving the career or surviving
Mhm.
life, that's what we need to be instructed more upon, and when I started researching all this, I was like, "Man, we haven't even covered half of it." So, that's what I do now. I've been writing books on it. I've been blessed to travel literally coast to coast to speak on it, and, it's been one heck of a journey. It's a lot of work, but it's totally worth it, and, it's just so cool who I get to meet, people who I connect with on LinkedIn, then I get to meet them in person. Denny, I remember when we met at the conference, it was so cool. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's awesome, and you also have a podcast as well.
Yes, the 10 Code Mindset podcast. I also have a YouTube channel, the 10 Code Mindset, but the YouTube audience varies a little bit from the podcast audience. So the YouTube
Sure.
channel is more about aspects of policing, and I bring on various police officers or former officers to give advice to those who are on the job or interested in it. In the podcast, we dive more into the mindset training and the mental health training and the peak performance, that kind of stuff.
No, that's awesome. It's definitely a great podcast. Definitely highly recommended. We recommend it here at Badge to the Bone. Definitely great listening. You're really doing some great work.
Thank you.
I was just like I said, I was so impressed with your presentation, everything that you covered in there. And you know, there's so much because you've written books, but and one in particular you wrote recently because I saw it on there and you put. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get that, and I've got it sitting right here, man, right here in front of me.
Yeah.
Is your 101 stress busting tips for first responders.
Yep, just released, early March 2025. That'll be book number 6, hard to believe.
Man, that's
Wow.
awesome. That's tremendous right there.
We gotta up our game.
You
You kidding? I mean, we'd be hard pressed to put together like a news article or something like that,
I could do a coloring book.
or a pop up book.
well, if you create a coloring book and you include crayons with it, I might eat the crayons because I'm a former Marine.
Now, so
Might
you've been on a roll of writing books. What brought this one on? What sparked your creativity that this is something I want to put down in a book?
yeah, what ultimately got this one going was I feel like there's a lot of awareness around the threat of I'll just say it, it's a hard topic to discuss, but it has to be discussed. The threat of suicide to law enforcement,
Mhm.
the threat of post-traumatic stress disorder, the threat of and risk of getting depression, the threat of burnout. There's a lot of awareness now versus, I mean, heck, what there was 5, 6 years ago.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Y
tremendous.
but I still feel like officers and other first responders, firefighters, EMS, dispatchers, I feel like they just don't know how powerful they are from within, and the resources they have within their minds and bodies and spiritual well-being as well as social well-being. So what I'm saying is, I'm not calling anyone weak by any means, but when you're in a bad place, you can feel alone. The struggle is hard, but if we just educate more people on how to navigate and combat the inevitable stress and trauma you're going to face,
Mhm.
I really believe we can bring these bad statistics down. And yeah, leadership has its place. Shaping a healthy culture has its place, but ultimately it comes up to the individual to make the and sometimes hard decisions to take actions for themselves. And I just wanted the book to be more of a, hey, here are some solutions. Here are some things you can do to rise above and prevail. And like I said before, not just be in survival mode or worse.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna say what caught me is, you know, when I first saw it, you see 101 stress busting tips. And at first I'm like, Well, I mean, I know how to avoid stress. I know what the stress tips are, and someone looking to get the book may think the same thing. And yes, you do know, but you don't know, if that makes sense. As I'm going through it, a lot of the stuff was, stuff that I've heard,
Mhm.
but I feel like you hear it and it kind of just goes in one ear and out the other, or you
Right.
don't really focus on it. So as I'm reading through it, and then the other thing is you give kind of the reasons behind it. You give some real good context. It's not just, hey, you don't drink a bunch of alcohol because it's bad for you, and this and that. You really get into the total issues with alcohol and what it does. And I think that's important because then it starts to sink in. If that makes sense. I mean, does that make sense? Am I making sense? As you're reading it and you're reading some solid context, that maybe it actually starts to sink in.
Well, I think that we, as people in our profession, we crave that. You can tell us, "Oh, don't drink booze." All right, well, tell me why. I mean,
Yeah,
we're just a naturally contrarian lot, so
yeah.
context is vital.
Good point. Yeah, no, good
It
point.
it is, and I think a lot of these things are so important to rehash. You talked about caffeine in there, and man, that's such a huge one. And I'm just looking at it because there's some humor in the book, and how you it's almost written like you're talking to me, like you're
Oh,
sitting
good.
here and we're having a conversation over it. But it's right off. Hey, don't put your guard up. Don't walk away yet. Because cops on caffeine. You tell them no caffeine. They're like, oh, the hell with you.
Oh, I think at one point in the book I put, "Alright, don't light this book on fire just yet,"
Yeah, yes, yes.
Man, wait a minute, you're saying that caffeine, nicotine, and booze are not the 3 pillars of life?
My gosh.
But that's so important because it truly is. I mean, I remember being on midnight shift and
Oh, we're terribly guilty of it.
living on caffeine.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a 2 energy drink a shift guy. I mean, I was drinking the one at roll call, and then I was drinking another one probably about halfway through, and I still usually had a cup of coffee in there, and that's so horrible for you.
Mhm.
You know, you can have caffeine, but you really need to have it in some moderation. I think folks need to really evaluate the intake of caffeine.
Oh,
It
especially the energy drinks.
it
They're
y
terrible.
yeah, yeah, and it's just a matter of, are you taught in the beginning, or are you
Yeah.
taught during your career from someone who's effective in teaching about caffeine or other things that are harmful to your physical health? And most of the time, no, it's just the, "Hey, don't do this." Like, "Okay, yeah, cool, got it, don't do it. Meanwhile, let me go do it." You know? I mean, seriously, like, if I would have been told that caffeine feeds anxiety,
Mhm.
caffeine later in the day or later at night before you go home from shift is going to wreck your sleep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, I would have started thinking a little bit more about the intake of it. Caffeine restricts your vascular system in a way that nutrients like magnesium, which help combat stuff like anxiety and stuff like all these different things. I'm not a nutrition and fitness and health expert, but I've done enough research to be like, man, we just weren't taught a lot about what we need to be taught about, considering how demanding a first responder career can be. So and one thing about alcohol was, like, the light bulb moment for me was was, when I read in, hopefully I don't get the title wrong, but, Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within, or it's Awakening the Giant Within, I can't remember. Anyway, he basically points out that as humans, we seek out pleasure and then run from pain. Well, what
Mhm.
helps with short-term pleasure? It's alcohol, but eventually it can lead to long-term pain. So we need to do what's painful in the beginning, like the workouts or eating healthy. It's not necessarily painful, but it's not that short-term pleasure. However, that leads to long-term lasting pleasure, like good results that you want. I've never met someone who is in the habit of drinking or straight up addiction to alcohol and saying, "I'm so glad I picked this up as a coping mechanism because it's helped me in my life." It's not going to happen. And I'm not being judgmental of those who are battling it. I've battled an addiction as well. It wasn't to that, but it's a bad place to be, and there is a way out of it. But we have to remember that ultimately in first responder career, typically things that are, quote, "easy to do to cope" are going to cause damaging results long term. And we gotta be careful about that. That was another reason for writing the book, was just to let you know about how so many things that seem quick and easy to, quote, "cope," even venting. If you vent too long, it you're just focusing on the negative, and that's not good. So, it was just one of those things of, enlightening people about that because just like you said, Al, I mean, we're, um, we're either skeptics or we're questioning things, and it's like, you say don't do it, but why?
You mentioned the negative, and that brings me to there was another spot in there that, and I never really thought of it. I mean, and it was the stop the countdown, and where you're, oh man, I've got 42 days in a wake up till I retire. I've got 5 years, 67 days,
Right.
13 hours to retirement, and I never really thought about it. And I I can't tell you how many folks that I heard that had the countdown.
There's so many of us that are guilty of that. I was
And
guilty of that. I fully admit it. Fully admit it.
It's one of
That's
those
one I
where
hear all the time.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, and it's if you're not careful, you get sucked right into it. You think that that's how you're supposed to be, and, for people who are counting down in the sense of, "I'm enjoying this, but I do look forward to the next opportunity, and I've got
sure,
3
sure.
years to go," that's one thing, but when you're saying things like 12 years can't go by fast enough, that's
Yep.
a long time, and also, our brains are just built to help us survive. That's it, and it's not made to make you happy. So therefore, it's built to help you survive, but if you don't train it to help you, then it's not gonna help you, it's gonna bring you down, and you could train it to hurt you as well and not even do it with any intention behind it, like, you don't know you're doing it, and when you're focusing on retirement, which is something you don't have yet, you're training your brain to focus on something you don't have, and you run the risk of being blind to all the other blessings you have at the moment, and also the impact you can still make right now. And it can be absolutely draining, and I look, pretty sure I mentioned it at the conference in Virginia, and I always get eyes wide open when I say, "Stop counting down like you're serving a prison sentence," and
Yes. Yep.
people just, "Oh," it's just, yeah, I just ask you to shift your perspective to, "Okay, it might be 12 years down the road, but what can you do right now?" And I think I put this in the book as well. If you're really over it, or it's just not working out for you anymore and you've done everything possible, it's okay to leave. You do not have to go till retirement to get that package because how many millions upon millions and millions and millions of other Americans have successfully retired without a law enforcement pension? Plenty. So uh, there are
I
other
think that's fabulous wisdom.
yeah, I mean,
Did
there's other opportunities out there if it comes to that point where you're like, "I can't do this anymore." Anyway, so that's that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was so huge. I never really thought about really just how negative that can put your state of mind in
Mhm.
by focusing on it. Like you said, you feel like, oh, 12 years. Holy shit, 12 years. Even if you're at 5 years, if you're like, oh, 5 years can't come quick enough. Well, 5 years isn't going to come, but so quick.
Yeah, right.
You know,
It's gonna
I mean,
take 5 years.
I mean, I could see if you're in that last year and you're like, "Oh man, 10 more months and I'm gonna retire. We're going to Florida, we're going down to the beach, or I've got the,"
Yeah, yeah.
and you got the next stage that you're looking forward to. There's a difference than you are. You've still got a long ways to go. You're like, "It just can't come quick enough. I can't wait to get out of this crap." That's like, oh well, maybe you need to reevaluate why you're there now.
mhm.
Mhm.
I thought that
Yeah.
was huge.
Well, that idea of being present, that
Mhm.
what you just said really resonated. The importance of being present and the stress taking you out of it.
Yeah.
That
Well, I referenced in the book Christopher Healy's book, In Valor, 365 Stoic Meditations for First Responders. I was reading through that book, incredible book, and I cited it in 101 Stress Busting Tips, but I'll never forget point after point being made in a lot of the reflections that Chris had was, what the Stoics believed, that dichotomy of control. and that is what can you control, what you can't. And it's so easy to focus on what you can't control. And there's a lot of things in the profession you can't
Mhm.
control, from
Mhm.
how that toxic manager might be to how the district attorney played a case that, or how it played out in court, and like you don't have control over that. But and you don't have control over the fact that if you're really wanting to go all the way to the end, you have 17 years to go. That you can't make 17 years go by
No,
any faster.
no.
So that dichotomy of control, what can you control right now? And I've had to do this particularly since leaving law enforcement because I miss it so much. I'm like, okay, I'm not in law enforcement anymore. I can't think about, well, it used to be this and these were the good old days. No, you gotta, what can I do right now to still make an impact and serve others? So anybody listening, what can you do right now that can help you and, like, build your family up? There's more in your control than you than your mind can initially lead you to believe as well. Like, remember, it'll just focus on the negative just by habit, of how it's innately wired, and we gotta be careful about that. So, control, control, control. Seek of what you can
Mhm.
control.
Yeah, that's really good. That is really good. Um, I want to throw a question. I think is there's one of the sections you talked about taking time and using your leave that we all earn
Mm.
annually. We all earn time off. You need time away from the job. And I think that's great because I agree. Knew a lot of guys who just never burned their time, and we always had a maximum that you could carry over. And some of them would end up losing some time because they were at that maximum. And I'm like, you got to
Mm.
take
Yeah,
time. But one of the hurdles I know that first responders are faced, particularly in law enforcement, is the staffing
yeah,
because the staffing is short. And I know or guys and gals are having a difficult time getting their time.
yeah,
So is for someone facing that, like, look, I'm putting in to try to get these weekends off, or I'm trying to get this time to go do things, but I'm constantly getting denied because of staffing
Mm.
issues. What are your thoughts on that? What's a is there a strategy to help navigate that?
yeah. When one, it's a good thing that you realize you need to take the time because it's too easy, particularly if you feel so called and purpose driven by the profession that you'll think, well, I can't take time off. There's this going on, or I got to be with the team. You know, if you got hurt and and can't do the job anymore, the team's going to go on without you. The department's going to go on without you. Take the time. However, if you are in a position where I think I read not too long ago, it was a bigger agency where they were slashing time. Like you can't take like mandatory, you can't take off time. We have big events coming up. Everyone has all
Mhm.
hands on deck. That's all the more reason to engage in healthy habits when you're not working. Even if it's, are you kidding me, Scott? I'm on for 12, off for 12, back on for 12, 7 days in a row. All the more reason when you get home, there's some things you need to do, which a ton of them are in the book. Something as simple as breathing in for 4, holding it for 4, and exhaling for 4, and doing that 4 or 5 rounds, or getting in that 10, 20-minute walk, or an actual weight workout, making sure that you're eating foods that supply your body with nutrients it needs to help you withstand the mental health. Because, like, if you're just eating quick sugar and refined carbs, guess what? That's actually hurting your brain health. Like, take care of you, and once again, it comes back to that, what can you control? And make sure you're doing what you can to get good sleep, because obviously you can't take time off to restore. You're going to have to just keep your body fueled and your mind fueled and trained to eventually just work it through, make the most out of it, and get to that point where, look, a problem has not come to stay. It will pass at some point, and you'll get that time off, but you want to be there to go on that vacation with your family as a healthy person, not so burned out that you're spending 2, 3 days into that time off just dragging everyone down because you're miserable. And I hope that makes sense, and I don't say it, like, in a blunt, judgmental way. I say it as a friend because I care about you, and friends are gonna have the hard conversations. So that's my advice regarding that topic.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think that's smart because that is something that a lot of the folks face. But if you're utilizing that time off that you have to the best to revitalize yourself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. You've got to use that time to, whether it's you're eating, your so really all of it, all these things that you talk about in there, use that time to your advantage
Mm.
to help kind of rejuvenate before you hit back to that 12-hour shift. I think folks just don't do that. The time is squandered.
Mhm.
There are, of course, like you mentioned, those situations where the staffing is so horrible that getting time off is exceedingly difficult. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. But I agree. You know, you tell would you hand money back to your agency? Would you, you
Of
know, the
course not.
that
Yeah.
leave time is money.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
And frankly, time, you know, I reached a point in my life where time became more valuable than money.
Yeah, me as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if you're not going to hand back cash, why are you going to hand back time?
Yeah. And you can earn money again, but you
Yep.
can't earn that time. Like, you can't
Yeah.
time you can time is something we can't get back.
Yep. That's the most valuable commodity.
Mhm.
Um, but I've told a lot of folks, because I've spoke to folks and they've said, I just can't get the leave, or I wanted to be off this weekend, or I was trying to get off for this holiday and I just can't get the leave. They won't give me the leave. And I've told them, keep on hammering the leave slips.
Yeah.
You may not get off this weekend that you wanted. You may not get off for the holiday. Hammer the leave slips. Just get some days off. Use the leave. Even if you're talking about a Wednesday, Thursday. You're like, what am I going to do on Wednesday, Thursday? You're not at work. It's a Wednesday, Thursday that you're home. You're going to get some rest, spend some time with your family. Whether you have a hobby, get a hobby, but do something, for yourself, so you can again rejuvenate. But I tell them, just keep hammering the slips away. If it's a matter of where you're going to give that time back, you're better off, even if you just spend it on just a random weekday. Get that time off. Get
Yeah.
that break from the job. Don't give it back. So I think sometimes that's what happens too, is folks get focused on the specific days they want, and they're popular. It's just Saturdays and Sundays. It's the holidays, and they're hard fighting for those. So I'm like, just keep putting the slips in. Get some days off wherever you can get them.
Yeah. 100%.
The sleep issue hit home.
Oh, yeah.
uh,
Oh,
I,
man. Yeah.
and you said, don't be the guy that is dragging the first couple days of family vacation. Well,
Mhm.
I know for a fact I've been the guy.
Oh, same here. Same here.
Mhm. Yeah.
I I realized when I started researching more about human performance and mental health, how much sleep is pretty much the foundation. I mean, yes, there's gut health and nutrition and yeah, okay. But if you're not getting good sleep, I don't
Mm.
care how tough you think you are, you're going to crash and burn eventually. And I pointed out in the book how it's all too easy for many to say, "I'm so used to not getting sleep.
Yep. Yep.
I'll I'll sleep
Yep.
when I'm dead." Okay,
Yep.
you are every first responder is a human being. And we're just not overall taught about magnesium and staying away from the caffeine a few hours. Well, heck, you need to stay out away from it several hours before going to bed, or keep the room cool, or don't expose yourself to your electronics and a lot of light before going to bed. Have a sleep time routine. Don't go to bed after completing some hard, heavy, stressful task. Take time for deep breathing and thinking about what you want to do with your life and the positive things that are in your life. And like, there's this whole list of things you can do to help better your sleep. And if need be, go to a doctor. And if you have to, get on meds to get you
Yep.
started
Mhm.
on something because
Mhm.
it's better than getting nothing. Um, to which, look, hey, disclaimer, this is all just for informational purposes. But the main thing is, there's a lot of information out there about how to better your sleep. Let's not resort to alcohol because it actually, yeah, okay, sure, you'll go to sleep, but it wrecks your sleep cycles. So it's not like
Mm.
good, healthy sleep by any means. Plus,
Yep.
that and caffeine, they both, play a part in dehydration. So it's like, uh, put in the work towards sleep the same way you would put in work towards a hobby, or you put in an effort towards working out. You put in effort towards not focusing on the negative so much. Put in an effort on learning a lot about sleep and maximizing it because it's essential.
Well, I was so glad to see that section in there because I mean I know the importance of sleep, but it reinforced all that. But I really didn't start getting into the importance of sleep till the tail end of my career,
Hmm.
and it really wasn't until you know, things had gone really sideways and I'd got myself into counseling that was one of the big things we talked about in there is well, what's your sleep like? And my psychologist has given me all these strategies to make sure that I'm getting sleep, and that was a regular checkup thing. We're in there. What? Well, how have you been sleeping since I saw you last time? Are you doing this? It was such an important thing, and I never really had given that. I mean, we need sleep, but the importance of it, I think, it's always been underplayed. And all
Yep.
throughout my career, it wasn't something that was really heavily emphasized of how important that sleep is or what it actually does for your body, for your mind. So it was just I thought it was awesome that that is in there because first responders need to know that. They
Well,
need to
need to
know that.
know it, and it's. Have you ever noticed that? Well, at least it was when I was working. Shockingly, of its time flies. I've been out of the job for a few years now. It seemed like it was almost not a trophy or like a something of honor, not something like that, but like a, "Whoa, he's only gotten 2 hours of sleep and he's here.
Yep.
Wow, man, look, oh, I'm only going on 3 hours." It's like,
Yep.
we really
Hmm.
don't need to be like that. We should be like, "You only got 2 hours of sleep and you're here with a loaded gun, and, you need to go home." Like,
There's
yeah,
that is absolutely yes. I remember that. It's a man. Oh yeah, I'm working on 1 hour sleep. I'm good to go. Well, I'm on my 27th hour. I'm like, holy shit. But
yeah,
it was like this
yeah,
badge of honor. It's like,
yeah,
oh yeah, I'm
right.
27 hours straight. I'm like,
We can't be
that
that
is
way.
no, that's dangerous. That's
Mhm.
bad.
Yeah.
It's like coming to work drunk.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, after a certain amount of hours, you are technically impaired, yeah. Mhm.
But I just want to say, I think you did an outstanding job with that book. Um, it's it's like I said, it's one of those things where you kind of know, but you don't know. And then when you put everything into this little compact book to go through, I thought it was just a really the way you set it up, the way it reads, is very easy to read. Um,
Well,
it was
thank you.
really good. I mean, I really almost I'm thinking this is something that they need to be sitting on the desks to recruits when they show up at the academy. They need to be reading this early on and seeing these things. Because if you could start your career focusing on a lot of these things, you'll likely be in a lot better shape and doing better than I was later in my
Oh,
You
well,
will
hey,
career.
not
same
be
yeah,
us.
same here. Same here. Yep,
I mean,
same
and
here.
that's what I thought. I thought, man, this things when they show up and they got their I don't know, every academy is different, but mine you show up and you got your binder there and you got your pens and notebooks and stuff to kind of give you. This needs to be sitting right on top of it.
Oh, well,
Um,
thank you.
it really does. And I would throw it out there that I know you put it stress busting tips for first responders. A ton, almost all of this stuff applies to everything else too.
Oh,
Anybody,
yeah.
not even if a first responder, I
Yep.
mean, the caffeine, the alcohol, the sleep, when you're talking about water, I mean, I've just recently here in the past couple of years really started to focus on my water intake and how important
Mhm.
that is. But again, I'm 50 years old and I should have been doing that at 21 years old.
Right,
So, I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
I really think this would be great in the hands of anybody, really anybody would get a huge benefit from reading this book. You
Well,
know,
that means a lot, Dennis. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering if you ought to even do like a second edition for everyone kind of deal because it
Yeah,
really
I
is.
might.
Shoot, just the stress busting tips for everyone because most of this stuff, as I'm reading, because there was a couple of things I was, truth be told, and she'll listen to this podcast. Well, there was a few things in here I've highlighted that I'll hand to my wife and let her read through. It talks about sleep, and we always argue about the darkness in the room, and I'm always like, look, studies show it's supposed to be dark.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so,
Mhm.
so there's some nuggets in here that I'm going to pass to her. But I think it's beneficial for everybody to read that.
I will be ordering a copy for my wife and my oldest child.
Right. I mean, I'm gonna send it to my kid down in the Coast Guard down in South Carolina.
Awesome.
He's just recently graduated high school. He went to boot camp right after high school, kind of like you did. He's
Mhm.
stationed down there south of Myrtle Beach, and he's starting it up. But he's Coast Guard. That's first responder. Send it. Hey, make sure you kind of read through and do some of these things. He's probably a little bit ahead of me in it, just because it's uh, more talked about nowadays. But again, I think if he reads through it, he'll be, again, like Al said, not us at the end of his career.
Well, Scott, I also appreciate the fact that you treat this holistically.
Mm,
That you're not just looking at the psych aspects or the fitness aspects. It all goes into one pot because they all
Yeah.
connect.
Appreciate that, and, yeah, it really does. I noticed that if you eat like crap, you could be meditating, journaling all day long. You're gonna feel like crap still. But if you eat well, but then you just focus on the negative, well, you're still gonna feel like crap. So it's like, yeah, it's like it's one big puzzle, and there's a lot of different pieces to it. And if one piece is out, the puzzle's not complete. But here's the deal: we are human. Like
Mhm.
there's going to be damage done. There's going to be events that
Yep.
totally bring us down, but we have it within us to rebuild, and I put a lot about that in the book as well, about this is how
yep.
you can work yourself out of a hard time, because 'cause they're
Mhm.
gonna happen. They're absolutely gonna, and that's another thing where it's like first responders feel like they gotta keep their crap together all the time, and heaven forbid you feel wrecked by something. No, it's okay. But we just can't stay in victimhood. I put that in there, like, in the first part of the book,
Yep.
like,
Yep.
you just can't stay there, and, it's damaging, and it's too easy. Do what's hard to make everything else later down the road more fulfilling and
Mhm.
better result, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott, it's been awesome talking with you today.
Thank you.
So glad we got to go over your book. And this is on Amazon, for example. I mean, that's where I got mine.
Yes, it is. I'm self-published only on Amazon. I figured a lot of people have Amazon, so it's a good place to have it. So yes, if you
It
go to
is.
Amazon, if you go to yeah, just go to Amazon 101 Stress Busting Tips for First Responders. It'll pop right up along with some of my other books. Well, all my other books, and yeah. Uh, so I encourage you to get it, read it, but then please do me a favor. One, I ask for a review because that helps, but two, pass it on to someone else. Like,
Yep.
we've gotta support each other. So pass it on to someone else and of course, make sure they give it back.
And Scott, once again, for our listeners that have been taking all this in and they want to know more, how can they find you online?
Yeah, thescottmedlin.com. I only say that because scottmedlin.com was taken, so thescottmedlin.com, that's my that's my online hub. That's the online home, but you can also go to YouTube and type in the 10 code, that's the number 10, the 10 code mindset, and my channel will come up, and, my website, there is you can, give your email, it will not be shared, and I will email you a weekly tip on busting up stress. And, if you need to reach out for anything, I'm in your corner, just let me know.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to shoot that email in there.
Alright, good deal.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much. And definitely, everybody, definitely get a copy of 100 Stress Busting Tips. I mean, we don't promote a book unless we truly think it's a good read, a valuable read. I 100% say this. I'm telling you, it needs to be sitting on recruit desk when they show up to the academy. Absolutely.
well, that means a lot. Thanks for having me on the show.
You betcha. Thanks so much, Scott. Good to see you.
Take care, Scott.
Man, now that was good. I'm pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm so glad we had him on. I really like how he is approaching the subject.
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfect when you talked about it being holistically, because he really is. It's everything kind of intersects. Everything's a part of it. It's not just one thing. It's not just the fitness. It's not just the mental aspect of it. It's not just a sleep. It's everything all together works for that total wellness.
He's right. I mean, if one aspect is not there, then the puzzle is missing a vital piece.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's important, and I think that's what's good about his book is it kinda goes over all of those things. I mean, it really is a good read.
Yes.
I hope folks go out there and buy it, and they shouldn't think, kinda the same thing I thought at the beginning. I'm like, "Well, stress busting tips. So I know how to beat stress. I know stress tips." You do, but you don't. You may know a few, but, he covers so much in that book.
Yeah, and yeah, so maybe you do know some of it. Does it hurt to have an extra arrow in the quiver?
It does not. There's
Never.
so much is covered, and I guarantee there's gonna be some things in there that you didn't think of, or you haven't given much thought, or things that you did know, but you really didn't focus on, and now this reinforces it. So you're right. It's just having that extra never hurts. You'll get some takeaways from it. Really awesome. But I mean, and if people are looking for a speaker, I definitely would reach out to Scott. He
Oh, yeah. Very, very engaging speaker.
awesome speaker, great presentation. We thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm hoping at some point we get to see him speak again.
Oh, hopefully we do.
That would be great. All right, Al, I think that's going to wrap it up.
I think that it does.
But Al, in the meantime, where can they find us?
They can find us at badgetothebone.com. They can also find us on Facebook at Badge to the Bone.
Also, make sure to like and follow us and shoot us an email. Let us know what you think. Maybe you want to be a guest on the show. Good or bad comments, we'll take them all. But shoot us an email at wearebadgetothebone@gmail.com. That's wearebadgetothebone@gmail.com. But Al, I think that's it.
We are out of here.
And as always, be safe and be well.